Chapter 4, Part 1, Black Holes in the Mirror of Culture and Philosophy. If the first 3 chapters carried us from theory to practical ambitions, Chapter 4 takes a different turn. The journey of black holes through imagination, philosophy, and human culture. Because sometimes, the things we cannot touch are exactly the ones that haunt us the most. Even before black holes were named, darkness itself had always been a source of fear and symbolism in myth. From the abyss of Tartarus in Greek mythology to the bottomless pits in Eastern legends, humans have long associated darkness with destruction and trial. When modern science coined the concept of the black hole, it was essentially an updated version of these ancient obsessions, this time packaged with math and physics add-ons. In philosophy, many view black holes as metaphors for the limits of knowledge. They are the places where both language and mathematics break down, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable truth: there are things beyond our understanding. Jean-Paul Sartre would probably have smiled if he knew of black holes, since they are the perfect embodiment of the nothingness he so often wrestled with. In popular culture, black holes have practically become A-list celebrities. From sci-fi blockbusters like Interstellar, where black holes are both threats and escapes, to video games where they serve as portals between levels, black holes have stepped far beyond the lab and into art. Even in music, the image of the black hole is borrowed to describe love, despair, or inescapable emotions. Because what could be more haunting than being swallowed by infinite darkness? And perhaps it is thanks to black holes that science and art find common ground. One side hunts them with telescopes and equations, the other with language and imagery. Yet both reach toward the same thing: the overwhelming feeling of the infinite. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into myths and symbols, from religion and ancient cultures to how modern society uses black holes as a contemporary metaphor for its own anxieties. Chapter 4, Part 2, Black Holes in Myth and Religion. Long before science coined the term black hole, humans had countless myths and religious stories describing absolute darkness, places where light, souls, or even entire worlds could vanish. Strangely enough, many of those tales sound like rough drafts of what science would later name black holes. In Greek mythology, Tartarus wasn't just a prison for the Titans. It was a bottomless abyss so deep that light itself could never reach it. Read that alongside the physicist's concept of a singularity, and you'll feel the same vibe. Welcome in. One-way ticket, no exits available. In Eastern traditions, there are stories of bottomless pits where the souls of the sinful are swallowed forever. Doesn't that sound like the event horizon, a boundary you cross once, and then goodbye, no coming back? In religion, the idea of a spiritual black hole also appears as metaphor. In Christianity, there's the notion of the pit of hell, where souls are consumed eternally, both a threat and a reminder of human limits. In Buddhism, the concept of ignorance, avidya, is described as a bottomless abyss where the light of wisdom is lost. Black holes in science swallow physical light, while black holes in religion swallow spiritual light. Different languages, same message. There are abysses from which no return is possible. Interestingly, black holes in myth and religion weren't only symbols of destruction, but also of trial. Those who dared to face the abyss often found rebirth or reached new knowledge. And isn't that exactly what modern science is doing? Staring into the physical abyss to find answers about the universe? From ancient times until now, black holes have mirrored humanity's culture. If in myth and religion black holes were seen as sacred abysses, then in modern pop culture, they've become true superstars, terrifying, alluring, and endlessly meme-worthy. Let's start with cinema. In Interstellar, 2014, the black hole gargantua appears not only as a physical challenge, but also as a bridge between science and human emotion. The film left millions of viewers weeping in theaters when they realized, standing near a black hole, a father and daughter's timelines could drift apart by decades. Science here wasn't cold, it was the raw material for a deeply emotional story. Meanwhile, in Star Trek, black holes often play the role of warp gates, hurling the Enterprise into other universes, a mix of science and drama that never fails to deliver a twist. In literature, Black holes symbolize mystery and the darkness of the human soul. Many writers use them as metaphors for emptiness, addiction, or love that devours reason. They've become modern shorthand. When you say my heart is a black hole, you're conjuring the image of an abyss that is both inescapable and endlessly pulling everything inward. But black holes don't just live in high art. On social media, they've transformed into memes. You've probably seen the classic cat-in-a-box meme captioned, "Black hole discovered," or jokes like, "My budget equals a black hole. My paycheck vanishes instantly." Here, black holes become a playful way to laugh at everyday struggles, from money to relationships, through a cosmic symbol that is both grand and hilarious. And this is the beauty of it. Black holes are no longer distant concepts reserved for scientists. They've become part of global culture, a shared symbol people use to tell stories, to cry, to laugh, and to dream. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into the symbolic meanings of black holes in contemporary philosophy and art, where they're not just physical phenomena, but mirrors, reflecting humanity's anxieties, hopes, and longings. Chapter 4, Part 4, The Philosophical and Contemporary Artistic Meaning of Black Holes. In today's world, where anything can become a symbol, black holes have emerged as images that are both haunting and alluring. They are no longer confined to astrophysics, but have seeped into philosophy, art, and even conversations about the very nature of existence. In modern philosophy, black holes are often seen as metaphors for the limits of thought. They are points where language and concepts shatter, where the human mind is pushed to its breaking point. Jacques Derrida, the philosopher of deconstruction, might have smiled at the idea of black holes, since they perfectly embody this structural void he so often described. Existentialist thinkers, meanwhile, might see them as the most vivid representation of nothingness, a place where meaning dissolves, forcing us to confront the raw fact of being. In art, black holes have become symbols of modern anxieties, loneliness, crisis, and loss. Abstract painters render dark, swirling forms to reflect the feeling of being swallowed by industrial society. Sculptors carve voids into their work to suggest the unseen that still exists. Even installation artists use black holes as reminders that some gaps in life are not meant to be filled, but accepted. Black holes have also become a kind of language for younger generations to describe inner struggles. A social media post like, "I feel like I'm falling into a black hole," is at once scientific and expressive. It transforms the cosmic into a tool for articulating emotions, when ordinary words just aren't strong enough. The most fascinating thing is this: whether in philosophy or art, black holes are always both terrifying and promising. They symbolize collapse, but also the chance for something new. When a star dies, a black hole is born. When an old idea crumbles, a new perspective can emerge. At their deepest level, black holes have become symbols of the cycle of creation and destruction, not only of the cosmos, but of human civilization itself. In the final part of this chapter, we'll bring it all together. Why black holes have such irresistible power that they've leapt beyond science to become a global cultural symbol, both an abyss and a mirror reflecting the human soul. Chapter 4, Part 5, The Global Symbol of Darkness. Looking back at the entire journey of black holes through imagination and culture, one truth becomes clear. They have gone far beyond the boundaries of science to become a global symbol. A black hole is no longer just an astrophysical phenomenon. It is a mirror reflecting humanity's deepest fears, hopes, and desires. In science, the black hole is the gateway to the final frontier of knowledge. In philosophy, it is a reminder of the limits of thought in the face of the infinite. In art, it transforms into a symbol of crisis and rebirth. In pop culture, it becomes memes, movies, and songs, seeds of imagination for entire generations. What makes black holes unique is their dual nature. On one hand, they symbolize absolute destruction, a place where light, matter, and information vanish. On the other hand, they represent creative potential. From the death of a star, an entirely new entity is born. The infinite and the fragile, the terrifying and the beautiful, all coexist in the same symbol. It's this duality that makes black holes part of a global shared language. An American might use them to describe spiritual emptiness. A Japanese artist might draw them in manga as mysterious portals, and Vietnamese netizens might joke about paychecks falling straight into a black hole. No matter the language, we all understand. Black hole equals something that disappears and yet remains irresistibly powerful. Closing Chapter 4, we see that black holes have stepped out of their role as scientific monsters to become part of humanity's collective imagination. They are abyss and bridge, fear and inspiration. And that's why, in the 21st century, when people think of the universe, the first thing that comes to mind isn't a star nor a planet, but a black hole. In Chapter 5, the final chapter of our story, we'll step into the realm of the boldest hypotheses, what lies beyond the black hole. This will be a journey that is part science, part fiction, part philosophy, a chance to peek through the veil of darkness and glimpse the secrets the universe may still be hiding.